I suppose I'll not tell you very serious things, man. I don't want people to doze off after a good lunch, listening to boring stuff. So I'll try not to. So I have a presentation. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go through my presentation. I think in 10 minutes or so, or 15 minutes maybe at the most. And I'd like to keep it interactive. This session is about building brands in the digital world. So I think most of you are people who are very native to the digital world. Actually, all young people who know digital, just like they know the other world actually. So would love to actually learn from you guys also and exchange ideas. So somebody needs to help me to start the presentation. Yeah, Priyam. Okay. Building brands in the digital world. So I would like to start off with a question. How many of you have heard of something called ExxonMobil? And how many of you have heard of Google? Raise your hands, please. Okay, so everyone has heard of Google. And anyone, again, for ExxonMobil, was there anyone? So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So these are, roughly companies of equal size. Roughly. So they are, ExxonMobil is today about $300 billion company. Google is $500 billion company. And ExxonMobil has a history since 1870. 1870 ko chal rahi hai ExxonMobil. And Google started in like 1999 or something. Most of you were born before Google. How many of you have heard of WhatsApp? So these are digital brands, Google and WhatsApp. 5 years old WhatsApp. Google, which is as old as a college going kid. And ExxonMobil is older than anyone alive in the world, and most of us have not heard of that brand. So the point I am trying to make, before I start the presentation is that digital branding is a huge thing. The brands that get built are becoming very big, very fast in the digital space, and that is the way to go. The future is digital. So this is again, one more graphic I pinched from, there's a guy called Mark Anderson. Yeah. So he is a very a visionary guy, a venture capital, a VC, and he is the guy who started Netscape, the first commercial browser in the world. And he is investor in many iconic companies of today's. Most of the big digital brands, he owns major chunk of those companies, LinkedIn. So many, And this guy, in 2011 wrote an article saying software is eating up the world. So what he meant was that every business, its existing way of doing business is becoming digital. Examples he gave was, for example, FedEx. FedEx, what does FedEx do? Most people say they are a courier company. But the way he defined it was that it's an IT company, it's a digital company which happens to own aeroplanes and trucks to deliver the last mile, provide the last mile connectivity. Everything else is on, their software which is doing processing, routing, everything is done by the software. What is Amazon? Is it a retailing company? This guy says, no, it's not. It's a software company. They build such a beautiful software which does retailing better than most of the other retailing companies of the world. And their job is to maintain that software. So these are just two examples. Every field is going through the same experience. The digital is, WhatsApp is, killing the telcos. All the telecom companies are, getting killed by WhatsApp and their, cousins. So that is digital for you. And how can branding be far behind? Branding And we have examples, in 5 years, today you get a brand like WhatsApp that goes, which becomes a household name. It was unheard of in the pre-digital world. 5 साल ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਨਾਮ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਲੋਕੀ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਦਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਾ. So 5 years it used to take to, give a name, and now you have, something explosively fast happening. So digital versus traditional, what are the digital ways of creating a brand and what are the traditional ways of creating a brand? Digital is like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and you guys know everything, popular platforms online. And then what are the traditional platforms for creating something like that? Newspapers, radio, television, difficult comparison, even I got the topic actually. If I had the luxury of choosing the topic, I would not even have chosen this topic, because it's not so difficult to convince people that, why, you should create brand in the digital world before you even attempt these, the things that are compared traditional things. So it's a digital first world. What do I mean when I say digital first? So have you heard of this term, digital first? Or have you heard of something called mobile first? So digital first basically means that any company that comes out with any product, the smart money basically, that the smart money invests on digital first these days. If they have to create a brand, they will not go and create a TV ad and start running it on a TV first. They will not create a newspaper ad and put it on a newspaper and try to see, after spending 10 lakh rupees, what is the outcome. So what they'll do is they'll spend a few thousand rupees, created digital ads, digital branding, which is very cheap. So many companies that I know have created advertisements and run them on YouTube first and see how the consumers respond to those ads, and the best ads they pick for the TV commercial, rather than just spending 2 crore rupees on a TV ad and then realizing, oh, people don't like it. So it's a digital first world. All the smart money which is being used to build digital brands is going to digital world first. The digital is far more cost effective. How much do you think creating a YouTube video would cost? Even a professional quality, very good video, with not hiring Amir Khan, of course, you can get it for maybe a lakh or 2 lakhs, something like that. But if you have a TV strategy, then you need to budget for something like 1 crore. Then, of course, the third point is the same thing. Digital is cheaper to try out. You can start digital, and then if you can test it, and if really needed, you can move on to traditional ways of building the brand also. If you have you want to spend money there, then digital is very focused. You know your ROI absolutely clearly. ROI, we all know ROI, right?
Yes.
So return on investment in digital world, you can measure up to a very micro level. Each click you can measure. Did it result in what you expected or not? In the traditional world, that is not how they work. They just try to spend money, and they know 50% of it works. They kind of say this is but which 50 they don't know. They spend 1 crore and 50 lakhs works, 50 lakhs goes down the drain, but which 50 lakhs work they don't know. But here you can measure, and you can start small. So all advantages that come with choosing digital before using traditional are there if you use digital branding as your strategy. So moving on to if of course I don't know why somebody will not decide to choose, but if they do, when they do decide to go digital with their branding strategy, so what are the things, I'll just quickly go through what are the most common things that people do. So there is a content strategy. Having great content is a very good thing to have, because that is the cheapest way to, I'll come to why, to create brand awareness. Mobile phone strategy, an SEO strategy, and a social media strategy. These are the 4 broad categories that I could think of, that a brand that is getting into the market would use. So So in the content, anyone who is, yeah, please.
What is an SEO strategy?
SEO is search engine optimization. So if you are trying to sell a product, especially if it is a consumer product, but any product of course. So you can assume that most people who are looking for that kind of a product will do a Google search and try to find who's manufacturing or creating or offering something, a product or a service like that. So you need to have a strategy where somebody who is searching for that kind of a thing is able to find you. So your discoverability basically. You create something, you are selling, let's say you are creating playing cards. If somebody can search you on Google, that you can create, say, custom playing cards with your picture on them. You need to have a content strategy because you don't know who in the market wants custom playing cards. You cannot go around checking every house. There will be very few people, but then Google can help you with that because those people are searching. So SEO strategy helps you that way. So in content strategy, one thing which is what I was talking about is mostly websites. You will create a website, you will put your content there. If you have a very good content and you can do a very good search engine optimization on that, which is not very difficult. You can easily learn about it and do it yourself. Then you have a good content strategy. First thing you have got it right. Then your website which is discoverable by Google, which people can find your product. Then you can have blogs. Blogs are something that are very popular in with so many businesses which are doing new world businesses. So they have something new coming out every day. So they like to have a blog to give news updates about the products or their plans about what is to come in the next 6 months, 3 months. They keep blogging, and blogs are something that a lot of people who are influencers, they follow blogs of other influencers. So you can use a blog to create first impact on so many such influencing people who can influence others by having a blog which is followed by such people. Making it interesting is of course very important in that. And videos. So if you can have a YouTube video and there are 100 people or even 50 people following it, and they are from your potential customer audience, you have a free marketing strategy. You need to create a good commercial or a good video of your product and just put it there. No need to give money to televisions to try to go to every home, because if you are in a niche market, your video will probably get shared to those people who are interested in that kind of a product. But you need to have a good video and it should be out there so that it can be discovered at least. So content and content distribution, these three are the most common. Of course, there are many ways. Mobile strategy, mobile is again, digital world has changed in the last 5 odd years. Especially in India, where we have more mobile users than laptop-based or desktop-based internet users. There are so many people who are their first introduction to internet is through their mobile phone. They didn't know about internet. So having a mobile strategy for a market like India is very important. Of course, everywhere else also. And this is a very fast-growing segment. Mobiles, it's exploding. So the basics that you can do. You can have, first 2 things is to have an app about your whatever you're offering, your product, your service. That again, not only, even if it is a simple, app, it helps with discoverability of your service, just like your website does. This also helps. And you need to make sure that your website is good enough for mobile phones also, because most of the people are searching your, products and services on mobiles, at least 50%. So having, building a brand in the digital world is, this is not just about branding, this is also about, marketing. But marketing and branding are, of course, very close activities. So search engine optimization, as I said, this is very important because this is a free, medium. You are using pull technology, not every advertisement is pushed to the consumer, and pushing is a cost. This is free. very few ways of marketing your products for free. So this is something that goes worldwide. Anyone, anywhere in the world can use it. If you have a good SEO plan in place, you can, win a lot of free business, or at least leads. You can generate a lot of good leads using Google for free. Google AdWords is not free. This is the advertising platform of Google, where if SEO is, of course, you cannot have let's say you have 10 different keywords that you believe people will search to find your kind of a product, and you're doing good on, say, 3 of them, on first page or second page. For the remaining 7, you can use Google AdWords. You can pay your way to your targeted audience. If they are searching for online education in Ludhiana, you can target Google AdWords. If for, of course, the SEO is the first preference because it is free, but Google AdWords is again very cheap. Social media strategy. Social media has become very powerful in the recent years, 2, 3, 4 years. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, hashtags trending. Thoda ja kuch hunda kehte before even the media picks it up, things are trending on Twitter, and to launch your product or service, if you can make it trend,
you already are now.
Yeah, so these are the 4 things probably you need to first take care of in your social media strategy. Of course, there are many different social media platforms, but these 4 are the biggest. And if you can, if you are starting off, have a good Facebook page, write good content, share it on your Facebook, try to have more followers there. Facebook can also have videos now, just like YouTube. Then if you can create good videos, your customers are talking about your product, you can create that. Very simple, everyday experiences about your product. Of course, have good videos, which are actually, creating a good image of your brand. Then Twitter is very powerful, but it is like a double-edged sword. If you use it wrong, you can also experience the other edge of the sword. It can kill your, it can kill you basically if you get it wrong. And it has happened to a lot of people who have lost their careers because of a wrong tweet. So, but carefully handled, you can use it to your advantage basically. And WhatsApp is 1:1. WhatsApp is mostly 1:1. Of course, there are groups, and you can use those things as well, because WhatsApp is again, it's the newest medium in the social media platforms, newest in the big. Otherwise, every day you are getting new mediums, but in the bigger ones, again, how you use WhatsApp is, you can use your creativity how you use it, but you can get in touch with so many people using WhatsApp. You can use it to your advantage in your branding strategy. So this is my last slide, I think. I don't know, maybe there is one more. So virality, this is one thing which is probably not there in the offline world. Anyone knows what is virality? Okay. So what we used to have before digital was word of mouth. Word of mouth is basically if people buy your product, if they use your service and they are happy with it, you can count on them to talk to other people and talk about your product, right? They'll tell others, but that was relatively slow. It was a very good way to grow your business, free of cost. But that word of mouth in the digital world, it becomes, just an explosive curve up. If you offer a very good product, if you create a very nice video, if you create something which is very entertaining, very unique, very, which people like, it will trend like anything, and the brands get created overnight. Kanhaiya Kumar, So one day, the day before I didn't know, I've never heard of it. He's a big brand. Hashtags, they trend and they create, something out of nothing, thin air. Tweets, retweets, Facebook shares, WhatsApp groups, these are all that are, being used as, which add fuel to the fire basically once it starts. But you need to provide the that basic spark. Otherwise, it will not happen. So yeah, that was the last one. Thank you very much for the invitation to talk to you, and happy to, if there are any questions, I'll happy to talk.
Let's have questions from the audience.
SEO used to be a word, I'll tell you, I'll take a minute or two to explain that. It used to be a word that came, maybe 15 years ago into the digital world, saying search engine optimization. When there used to be a lot of search engines, Google, Yahoo was considered a search engine at some point of time. Alta Vista, I don't know if you have heard of it.
Yeah.
So there were search engines, now they are no longer, any more search engines. They are only Google. So if this strategy were to be, created today, it would probably be called Google optimization, not search engine optimization. So this is about creating your website in such a way that Google is able to index it very well. Indexing is when you search, all the results that show up are indexed in the Google database. So it's something you can learn very easily. There are some basic fundas. You can learn those fundas, and you know how a site can first of all get indexed, because unless it is indexed, it is not even in the game. So when it gets indexed, so I'll tell you one or two things. A good way to get it indexed is having good links, and good quality links is basically, you don't have, I don't know how many technical people are here, but there are simple links are good actually. JavaScript links, and there are multiple different types of links. Those are not good for SEO.
Is it connecting to the best servers?
I don't know what exactly you mean by connecting to the best servers, but if you get good incoming links, they are counted as upvotes. You are getting good votes. So if you have a website which has 100 links coming in, and they will come in because Google will assume that you are doing something good or something interesting. That is why people are linking to you. Those pages will start going up. Then you need to have your keywords right. Keywords is basically, you need to understand what people are searching when they are trying to find you out. So if you get those keywords right in those pages which are ranking, which are getting good votes, then you are in a good you have a very good chance of being on the number one page if you are not in a very competitive field. So if, let's say you are putting Ludhiana something, anything, Ludhiana is a big filter. If you get your strategy right, you can rank on number 1 or number 2 or 3. That is SEO.
Well, adding on to a thought came, which if somebody is looking forward to set up a social enterprise, which is non-profit to help others, or sort of a foundation, then digital marketing, digital media, Google has a grant of $120,000 annually, right? So if you apply and you say you're doing something to help the community, the society, then they give you a grant of $10,000 every month, right? Every month, $10,000. So they give you free AdWords, right? It's a simple application online, Google grants, study the whole thing. I think within 48 hours you might get a yes or no. So imagine, $120,000 का आपको support मिल जाए free में.
But
it could be
that is strictly for not-for-profit.
Not-for-profit, I mentioned that. Yeah. So non-profits, but people who want to help others. But if somebody wanting to set up a social enterprise or सोचता कि लोगों का भला करना है उसके लिए ठीक.
Incidentally, we got that grant for one of our social enterprises, and I might have talked about it if we had time. I don't know. What kind of time we have? Do we have 5 minutes?
We are almost tight on time.
Okay, then
we in line.
So we'll keep questions and answers.
They are staring at me sweetly.
Fine. So,
but thank you very much. And you have any questions, guys? So we would like to interact informally, and we have the next speaker. I think we'll leave it on to the informal discussion. Thank you very much, Jaskirat.
Thank you.